What up? How we doing? Welcome back. JE Live. Staying consistent here. I figured with training camp over and preseason here, right before the preseason game, of course, we'll be live streaming in case you guys didn't know that. We'll be live streaming on Saturday night, both on YouTube and on Kick. So be sure to check that out. When I think it's at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I want to say. So be sure to check that out when we have that. But yeah, so we'll be streaming on Saturday. But the point is that preseason is right around the corner. So I thought it was time to break out the second 53-man roster projection, because I believe I did a video. I already forgot if I did a video or not. I definitely put it out there in some capacity. But, I already did a video. I'm going to say I already did a video. That's what I'm going to say. We already did a video about the 53-man roster projection, and so now we're doing 2.0. So before we do that, before we continue on, before we do anything, if you haven't already, I would like to introduce you to that like button, also known as the thumbs up button. If you have not hit it yet, that means you do not like what I'm doing for whatever reason. That's what that means. I don't make the rules. So that's how YouTube looks at it. So please be sure to hit the like button. And also, if you never want to miss another video ever again, be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Now, if you're on Kick right now, you're probably like, what the hell is the like button? And I totally get that. So there's a follow button on Kick. For those of you that are out here that are watching and, you already follow, then yeah, there's not really much else you can do. You can sub if you'd like to do that. It does help out the channel. But now that we've had a little tutorial of what's going on, let's discuss everything, shall we? So the Los Angeles Rams have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Diving right into this thing, I'm going to give you the guys they have on the roster and the guys that I have them keeping. And I can tell you right now, before we get into that, I can just see the viewers are in need of a refresh or whatever, because it is sad over here. We got Kick. That works, although it went right to, yeah. See, Kick works. YouTube viewers do not work for whatever reason. Who knew? I didn't know that. Because we do not have 0 people on YouTube. We already have 30 people on YouTube. So, appreciate you guys showing out on YouTube. I'm not sure what's going on with the YouTube viewer count widget. I shouldn't worry too much about it. It's not really that big of a deal, but I guess I'll just do this real quick. See if it... Okay. Anyway. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but let's dive into our show, right? All right. So, with that being said, we have the Rams quarterbacks. The LA Rams have 4 quarterbacks currently on the active roster. You have Matthew Stafford. You do have Brett Rippon, who is a little bit of a veteran here. It's kind of weird. I remember when he first came out of Boise State. I was a big fan of his. Stetson Bennett, the 4th round draft pick. You also have Dresser Wynn, who is the UDFA out of Tennessee Martin. And those are your 4 quarterbacks on the Rams right now. So of those 4, how many am I going to keep? Well, obviously, Matthew Stafford's making the roster. Okay, I mean, he's going to be my starter here. He's going to be anybody's starter. Then I'm going to keep Stetson Bennett. So that leaves 2. Am I going to throw a 3rd in there? I kind of joked about this to Blaine earlier. 4 years ago, Jake 4 years ago would be jumping up and down at the thought Brett Rippon is on the Rams. Right now, though, Jake's a realist. Brett Rippon could be saved on the practice squad. I'm going to roll with 2. I'm going to cut Brett Rippon here, and I'm going to cut Dresser Wynn. Both have an opportunity to make the practice squad here. And for whatever reason, I guess my alerts aren't working, because I see that we had a super chat. Quintana 310. Appreciate the 2 there, my friend. That is awesome stuff. So, thank you. I don't know what is going on with the alerts. There's always something going on with Botrix, I swear. Anyway, we move on to the running backs. So we're keeping 2 quarterbacks, Stafford and Stetson. Now we move on to the running backs here. We got on the Rams, Cam Akers, Kyron Williams, Zach Evans, Ronnie Rivers, and Royce Freeman. Royce Da Freeman. If you get it, then drop a F in the chat that you got it. I don't know. Cam Akers, I'm going to obviously keep. He's the starter. Kyron Williams is the number 2. And then it gets a little tricky here. Where do you go? Do you go Zach Evans? Do you go Royce Freeman? Do you go Ronnie Rivers? Do you cut 2? Do you cut them all? Do you just go out? Like, what are you going to do? Right? Anyway, Cam Akers and Kyron Williams, they're locked in. I'm actually going to surprise you guys on this one. I'm going to cut Royce Freeman. I'm going to cut Ronnie Rivers, and I'm going to keep Zach Evans. Only 3 running backs on the roster. I only like 3 running backs on the roster here. It is going to be a tough roster to fill out. So I'm going to roll with, Cam Akers, Kyron Williams, and Zach Evans here. And I'm going to see if I can snag Royce Freeman, put him back on the practice squad with Ronnie Rivers. You can never have too many of those guys on the squad. Anyway, that's how I have the running backs. So right now, if you're doing the math, we have 5 guys currently on the roster. 5 guys. I had that the other day. Great food. If you've never had it before, shout out to 5 guys. Anyway, wide receivers. I have, obviously, the Rams have Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, Ben Skoranek, Austin Trammell, Lance McCutcheon, Tyler Hudson, Braxton Burmeister, and Xavier Smith. So who are they keeping out of these guys? Well, first off, Cooper Kupp. That's an obvious one, right? So we'll have Cooper Kupp there. And let's see here. Cooper Kupp. We got Van Jefferson. We got Tutu Atwell. Puka Nacua. So those are my 4, big 4 there. Demarcus Robinson is going to make my 53 here. And I'm going to choose one more receiver, and you'll understand why in a second. I'm going to go with Tyler Johnson. Frankie Too Sweaty, is your birthday's today. Well, happy freaking birthday. Let's pin that. Can we pin that? Aha. Everyone wish Frankie Too Sweaty a happy birthday in the chat. So yeah, I have the Rams keeping 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, and 6 wide receivers. And the receiver that I have them keeping, believe it or not, is Tyler Johnson. Now, this is going to make sense in a second here because I know I'm going to get some pushback here. What's up, Dreamer805 and Mark Xavier? How we doing? So over on Kick. So that is how I see it there, right? And I have Tyler Johnson over Lance McCutcheon, over Ben Skoranek. I think Johnson being one of the younger receivers in the room, having the experience and everything, I like Tyler Johnson there. So I have them keeping 6. So right now, if you're doing the roster math, we're up to 11 players on the roster, on Jake's roster, right? So then we move on to the tight ends. And now the tight ends here, this is where it gets a little tricky, and I'll explain. You got Tyler Higbee that the Rams have. You got Hunter Long, Bryson Hopkins, Davis Allen, Christian Sims, Cameron McDonald, and Nikola Kalinick. I have them keeping Higbee and Bryson Hopkins. Okay? I have them also keeping Davis Allen. That leaves one more spot where I think this is how the Rams' rationale is going to be to keeping 7 wideouts. Okay? I think Ben Skoranek, in the roster math of it all, is going to be listed in their mind. Okay? He'll be listed as a wide receiver when he makes the team. But I think in their mind, and trying to be more like them, I think they're going to look at Skoranek as a tight end. So he doesn't have to play tight end. It's kind of like a nice thing for the roster numbers to justify. You don't want to cut Tyler Johnson. I think we're about to see a really fun preseason run by Tyler Johnson. Okay, I think he is going to have a really good preseason. It's going to be hard to cut him. So Davis Allen, I have making the team. That means I have them cutting Hunter Long, okay, Christian Sims, Nikola Kalanick, and Cameron McDonald. Now, I understand some people are probably like, wait, why are they cutting Hunter Long? Hunter Long was part of the Jalen Ramsey trade. Hunter Long was a throw-in in the Jalen Ramsey trade. Hunter Long, stop it, Alex. Hunter Long was a throw-in in the Jalen Ramsey trade, okay? I wouldn't hold out hope that he's automatically making the roster because he was part of a trade, okay? I wouldn't. He's hurt right now. He hasn't really done anything. Now, could they keep him? Yes. I think there's going to be a tough cut here and there, and this isn't really that tough, but I think based on the type of name we're talking about, because he was part of that trade, I think people are going to be a little surprised by this, but I'm going to cut Hunter Long here, and that means Tyler Higbee, Bryson Hopkins, Davis Allen, and Ben Skoranek are listed as your tight ends. And if you're doing the roster math so far, if you're with me, we are at 15 players out of 53. So we're running out of some room here, and this is where the bulk of the room is going to go. Okay, offensive line. We got Alaric Jackson playing left tackle, Steve Avila playing left guard, Coleman Shelton starting at center, Tremaine Ankrum Jr. starting at right guard, and Rob Havenstein starting at right tackle. Those are 5. Okay. Now, on the Rams' current roster, in addition to that, Joe Noteboom, A.J. Arcuri, Grant Miller, you have Brian Allen, Sean McGinn, Mike McAllister, Zach Thomas, and Warren McClendon, as well as Logan Bruss. I have the starting 5 I just listed starting. I have Coleman Shelton edging out Brian Allen. So behind those guys, since I have them keeping obviously 5 at the very least, Joe Noteboom makes 6, Brian Allen makes 7, Zach Thomas makes 8, Logan Bruss makes 9, and Warren McClendon makes 10. So I have the Rams keeping 10 offensive linemen. I have them cutting, let's see here, Sean McGinn. I have them cutting Mike McAllister. I have them cutting Grant Miller. And I have them cutting A.J. Arcuri, which means I think a lot of those guys actually have a shot to make the practice squad there. I think A.J. Arcuri is last year's news. Okay, he's a 7th rounder. You don't have to worry about a team plucking him, because at the end of the day, like, the way it comes down to is that this guy didn't just get drafted, right? So he didn't just get drafted. And if he just got drafted, I'd be more keen on keeping him. But who's going to pluck him right now? You know, he doesn't have a lot of like great tape out there or anything. I think that's a type of guy that you can bring back on the practice squad fairly easily. In addition to that, I think Mike McAllister is definitely somebody that they'll look to bring back. He's had a good camp by all accounts. Yeah, so that's how I decided to go with that. So that puts us at 25 players on the offensive line. Totally agree with you, Rusty. Better safe than sorry in the offensive line room. And totally agree with you, Alex. It is a what have you done for me lately league. And if Hunter Long doesn't see the field soon, he has no chance of making this roster. They're not just going to keep him just because. This is going to be way too hard of a team to make, because it's weird. There's not as much talent as years past, but you have a lot of guys that are around the same, skill level. It makes it harder, if anything. At least before, you knew it was cut and dry. Now you don't know. So that's how we have it. So 25 so far in the offense. What's up, Jeremiah? What's up, Dreamer805 just followed Gary Sheffield Jr. Awesome. Love that. Let's move on to the defense, shall we? Defensive line. This is who the Rams have on their roster currently. Aaron Donald, Bobby Brown III, Marquise Copeland, Jonah Williams, Kobe Turner, Ernest Brown IV, Desjuan Johnson, Teron Vincent, Laurel Murchison, and TJ Carter. So how many guys am I going to keep here? All right, let's go through it. Aaron Donald, that's a no-brainer. He's going to make the roster, right? So Aaron Donald. Then you have, where is he? Bobby Brown III, Kobe Turner, Marquise Copeland, Ernest Brown IV. We were talking about him extensively in our last live stream. Jonah Williams, Laurel Murchison, and the final cut guy that is going to make the roster here is Desjuan Johnson. So that is that. I have them keeping 8. I have them cutting TJ Carter and Teron Vincent. But I think they keep 8 here. I think they want to go more heavy in the trenches. I could see them keeping 7 defensive linemen. It's not out of the question. They normally don't keep this many, but they normally don't have this talented. This is the irony here. Everyone says they have no talent in the defense. How are you cutting those defensive linemen? How are you cutting that? If they have no talent, why is it Aaron Donald, Bobby Brown, Kobe Turner, Marquise Copeland, Ernest Brown IV, Jonah Williams, Laurel Murchison, and Desjuan Johnson? How is that even a possibility? If they have no talent, then we're not talking about it like that, right? So, yeah, I think they keep 8 out of the 10 guys currently. So that puts our roster math at 33. Okay? So keep that in mind. Puts our roster math at 33. Now we move on to the edge. So edge defenders are as followed. Byron Young, Michael Hoyt, Keir Thomas, Daniel Hardy, O'Shawn Mathis, Nick Hampton, and Zach Van Valkenburg. Okay? Who's going to make the roster? Well, Byron Young is a no-brainer. 3rd round pick, high 3rd round pick. They like him a lot. He's going to start. Michael Hoyt, going to start. Daniel Hardy, I have making the roster. And Nick Hampton. So I have them keeping 4 edge defenders with the possibility of adding a vet at the end of camp, like we've talked about, at the end of preseason. But I'm going to roll with those 4. I'm going to cut Keir Thomas and hopefully bring him back onto the practice squad. Potentially bring Zach Van Valkenburg on the practice squad and O'Shawn Mathis, who always kind of felt like a guy they just wanted in the building. And he has a chance to make the roster, but I think he was the most likely to miss the roster, which is okay. You know, he had his moments in college, and, you know, I think he's somebody that has a pretty decent size ceiling, but he has such a low floor that getting cut and going on a practice squad is probably the best thing for him. So that's what I have. 4 edge defenders. The roster math would put us at 37 players. Inside linebackers, here we go. So I want to preface the inside linebackers real quick with this. There are people that have said, Jake, this inside linebacker room is abysmal. It's terrible, and I'm scared. And normally I would say, I understand that. If the Rams had Ernest Jones and Christian Roseboom starting next to each other in a normal 3-4, you know, like normal 3-4 defense, I'd be a little concerned. This is not a 3-4 defense. This is a 3-3-5, okay? And really, you're only going to play with one true inside linebacker in that type of role, okay? And because of this, you don't need to have a really deep inside linebacker room. You have guys that, you know, obviously you have your star role. You have guys that are safeties that could play linebacker in a pinch. Jordan Fuller, John Johnson III, Quentin Lake. Those guys could play. So not really too worried about that, as well as the fact that Daniel Hardy and Nick Hampton could also play inside linebacker if necessary. So there is some flexibility there. And there's also plenty of free agents as well, as we found out. So Ernest Jones, Jake Hummel, Jaden Woodby, and Ryan Smenda Jr. In addition to that, Christian Roseboom, Kelechi Onyelebechi, and DeAndre Square are your inside linebackers on the Rams right now. I have them keeping Ernest Jones, I have them keeping Christian Roseboom, and I have them keeping Jake Hummel. I think Hummel is going to get a push from Onyelebechi, who I think is the name to look out for. But at the end of the day, I have them keeping 3 inside linebackers on the roster. They're not as imperative as years past because they don't run a true 3-4. So Ernest Jones will be your predominant starter. You might see a little Christian Roseboom this year, but not much on the defensive side. And, I think Jake Hummel, he's making strides. He made the team last year. He's a guy I really liked. Anya Lebechi is a name to look out for, though. I can't stress it enough. Incarnate Word. He is definitely somebody to look out for. So I would say Kalechi, Anya Lebechi is going to be a practice squad guy. But look out for him because I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him. So I got 4 inside linebackers. So we were at, let's see, we were at 33. We're at 40. Okay, so now our roster math is 40. So then we look at cornerbacks, okay? Jacoby Durant, Akello Witherspoon, Darion Kendrick, Tamarcus Davis, Jordan Jones, Vincent Gray, Robert Rochelle, Tyon Davis, Cameron McCutcheon, and you got Trey Tomlinson, Sean Jolly, and Rashard LeCount is listed as a corner safety guy. So I don't know. I would prefer him at safety. But anyway, so those are our corners to choose from. And let's see. We got Jacoby Durant starting, obviously. Akello Witherspoon starting. We have Darion Kendrick also starting. Trey Tomlinson and Robert Rochelle. That means I cut who did I cut here? Tamarcus Davis, Jordan Jones, Vincent Gray, Tyon Davis, Cameron McCutcheon, Sean Jolly, and that's it. Now, I could see Rochelle getting cut. I could see Tyon Davis making it. I could see them going kind of crazy here, going with Sean Jolly. I could see, somebody like Vincent Gray, who I've talked highly about. But that's kind of where I'm leaning right now, is that I kind of feel like, here at the roster math is 45 with 2 position groups to go. I feel good about my 5 spot there for the corners. So that's the decision I decided to make. All right, now on to the safeties. We got the Rams have John Johnson III, Jordan Fuller, Russ Yeast, Quentin Lake, Tanner Engel, Jason Taylor II, Rashard LeCount, Quindell Johnson, and Rashad Torrance II. So, anyway, we move on here. I got John Johnson III starting with Jordan Fuller, Quentin Lake, Russ Yeast, and Jason Taylor II. That means I do have the Rams cutting Tanner Engel, Rashad Torrance II, and Quindell Johnson. I think the guy to look out for is Tanner Engel on the practice squad, and also cutting Rashard LeCount. So that is that. And then last but not least, the special teams unit, where everyone just automatically makes it. Tanner Brown, kicker, Ethan Evans, punter, and Alex Ward, long snapper. Give it to me straight, guys. How'd I do? Let me know. Benny Sco made mine. I just listed him as a tight end, because that's what I think they're going to do. Pretty solid. Good. Not bad. You just want Vincent Gray. I concur. Sounds good, Jake. Appreciate y'all. Be sure to hit the like button. I don't know why my widgets aren't working. This is kind of annoying. Brutal, actually. No complaints here. You think Ronnie makes it? I think Ronnie Rivers has a shot. I definitely do. Right now, the return guys are well, I don't think Tutu Atwell's in there. I'm not even looking at the depth chart right now. I'm looking at the roster. I'll look at the depth chart again. I believe it's Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams are the return guys. And then Ronnie Rivers was one of the backups. Yep. Ronnie Rivers is the backup kick returner. Kyron Williams, kick returner. punt returner Puka Nakua. The long snapper's Alex Ward. We talked about him. Fun fact, if you guys tuned into the Downtown Rams live draft stream, we actually talked about Alex Ward because the Rams needed a long snapper, and so I started doing research. Kendrick scares you, Don? I get it. I'm not super high on Kendrick, but I'm hoping the coaches are right and I'm wrong. I'm not anti-Kendrick, though. I want him to do well. It's not like I'm rooting against him. I can see some things I don't love, but he takes some chances. You know. You get it. You guys get it. Alexander, I know, right? I thought they were going to raise the roster size, and they haven't really done that. Kendrick ran like a 4.8, so yeah, he's not the fastest guy in the world. He plays, I will give him credit, though. He plays a lot faster on tape. I'll say that right now. Definitely plays a lot faster on tape. I just give up on bot tricks tonight because, like, I don't know what's going on with the stuff. The alerts are down. The likes aren't like being populated. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Alex, you didn't like Bobby Wagner? You know PFF rated him the #1 linebacker in football, right? I think I had him #2 on my list, or #3 in the top 10. #1 being obviously Fred Warner. You got it, Rusty. Definitely should end up being a war zone out there. I didn't see the slowness factor. Everyone told me that. I looked for it. I never thought he looked particularly, he's not as fast as he was when he came into the league, but I mean, the guy is still definitely running a 4.5, 4.6. Probably like a 4.6, but still. Who do you got for running back, Dreamer 805? Cheap, durable, fast rookies. I mean, that's basically what they have. A-Dog, what's up? Do I think they'll go after Brian Burns? I mean, I could see them trying to get him, but he's not going anywhere. The only chance they had of getting him was before this new regime. This Panthers regime is really going to put them back on the map. They are going to be a problem. Bryce Young is going to be a problem. The coaching staff is fantastic. Defense looks good. Yeah, you're not going to be able to acquire Brian Burns now. I don't know if that was a fan, Alex. I think that was a stupid protester. What's up, Briley? What do I think about the O-line? I like the O-line. I know I'm in a little bit of the minority there, but I actually really do like the O-line. Chase Young, that's certainly possible. If Washington loses games that maybe they thought they were going to win coming in, I could see them going into sell mode. Yeah, I could see it. Could see it. Is anything working with kick or not kick? Excuse me. Botrix. I don't feel like it is. I mean, on kick, I guess it is. It doesn't look like it is on YouTube. Nothing's working. Maybe if I do Discord. Nope, nothing. Maybe let's try kick. Wait, what the hell's Nightbot? Did Nightbot kill Botrix? What the hell? That's funny. I don't even know what's going on. It is sad to see half the guys not making it. It's also sad. I try to make it more, you know, like have people realize how like serious it is. Like, it, you know, these guys are losing their jobs at the end of the day. Some of them are losing their dreams. So it's like, you know. Briley, I think Steve Avila is going to be one of those key cogs in the offense. I think he comes in day one, plug and play. I think he's only been that to this point. I'm very excited to see him. He is massive. Like, it is going to be a sight to see. And for defenses, they're not going to be too happy about him being out there. But, oh well. Crime scene in J Live. Nightbot has been accused of murdering Botrix. I don't even think I installed Nightbot. I don't know why that even came up. There is no Botrix, only Nightbot. Monty, appreciate you. Salute my brother Jake. Do you think Lance McCutcheon can step up and be a sleeper? He showed flashes last season in the preseason. I think Lance McCutcheon can do something in the preseason, but I don't think he has a chance of making the roster. I think they're just too loaded at receiver right now, unfortunately for him. But that is a good question. I think if he'll either come back on the Rams practice squad or he'll get picked up by a team like the Vikings or the Bengals or somebody like that. Somebody that kind of runs the same type of style as Sean McVay. I could see them going after him. The Panthers maybe even, you know. Alex wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. Would explain why none of my bots are working correctly. Although it looks like Botrix is holding off Nightbot on kick. So I guess on YouTube only Nightbot killed Botrix. Which is frustrating because this is probably one of the worst layouts I've ever had. Because I have a 0 likes here. I have 56 likes and it's not even showing up. So I don't even know. Thanks again, Monty, for the 5. Really appreciate you. What did I think about Allen Robinson on the Rams? Allen Robinson, what's sad is Allen Robinson is somebody that could have had an all-pro type of season with Matthew Stafford if he got a chance to play with a healthy Matthew Stafford, a Matthew Stafford who developed a rapport with him in camp, and he didn't get that opportunity. He just didn't. And so, you know, unfortunately, what ended up being reality of it is that he steps in, Van is out, so it was harder on him. And you know, I think he's going to be really good in Pittsburgh. But I think people are going to be like, wait, why did the Rams trade him? And I mean, I think that's definitely a fair question. But he diversified the receiver room. He gave them something that they didn't actively have. So make no mistake, his role on the Rams was imperative. It was important. It was very, the goal essentially was to, diversifying the receiver room is going to make the offense less predictable. It's going to make them more creative. And so there was a method to the madness of going out and getting him. I really liked that. What I didn't like is to get rid of Robert Woods, and what I also didn't like is to get rid of Allen Robinson for nothing. Because to be honest with you, I think the Allen Robinson move was dumb. I think he's going to be fine. I think with another year, Allen Robinson could have done something in this offense. If he had a full training camp to work with Matthew Stafford and build that rapport, I think we could have seen some serious dividends. But the way the league works now, Van Jefferson gets a huge opportunity here to carve out that number 2 wide receiver role that he hasn't had yet in his career, despite the fact he had an 800-yard second-year sophomore season as the 4th wide receiver and the 5th option. So I think that's the beauty of it, is that it sucks that Robinson's gone, but at the same time, now you get Van Jefferson going, you get Tutu Atwell going, Puka Nacua gets to step up in a bigger role, and you wouldn't have those things, if you kept A-Rob. So it kind of goes back and forth, I guess, there. I mean, they definitely paid too much to A-Rob. There was no discount, despite the fact... I mean, there was a discount, yes, but it just seems like despite the fact he was coming off his worst season, they still kind of paid a premium for him. So, yeah. Briley, what do I think about Demarcus Robinson? I think he's an underrated football player. I think he's somebody he's a model of consistency. He's always on the field. He's the guy that's going to do the dirty work. He's going to not be afraid to take on a block or two. Always playing through the whistle. A guy that has a nose for the end zone when the ball's in his hands. Good route runner. And I know there are probably people listening to this like, Jake, if this guy's as good as you're saying he is, why has he only had, years where every single year it's under 600 yards receiving? And I would just point to the fact, look at who he's been around, We look at it in terms of, oh, yeah, well, now he's not getting double teamed. And that's true. You don't get double teamed if Travis Kelce and, Tyreek Hill are on your team. But at the same time, you also don't get targets either. Because why am I going to throw to Demarcus Robinson if I have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce? So he wasn't, he really wasn't utilized enough in Kansas City, and that was fine. And now, he's probably that 4th, 5th receiver that people are going to sleep on, and in a rotational role, or maybe down the road, he could really push himself into that starting lineup. But he's got more experience on the outside, lining up on the outside, playing on the boundary than any other wide receiver on the team. That's something to keep in mind. Jake, I've sort of loosely been following the Trey Lance camp. What's your take on what will happen to him this year? How about the look for San Francisco? So I want to say this about Trey Lance, and I like that you brought this up, Jazz Flute. Trey Lance is better than people think. Okay, I'm willing to plant my flag on that. I told you I think he was a special prospect, and I think the 49ers ruined him. Hear me out when I say this, okay? There is a player I'm going to use right now as an example, different sport, but I'm going to use it. You see the Kansas Jayhawk logo in the background? Do you see it on my shirt? I watch a lot of Kansas basketball and football, but Kansas basketball. Remember Andrew Wiggins, NBA fans out there? You guys know Andrew Wiggins? Well, before Andrew Wiggins became a pretty solid B-rated, B-minus rated player in the NBA, Andrew Wiggins was this superstar prospect coming out of high school. Okay. He goes to Kansas, and it was a massive thing. Okay. Andrew Wiggins was supposed to go to UNC or Florida State because his parents, he was from Canada, but his parents went to Florida State, and UNC was like a favorite. The Harrison twins come out with some weird diss track about him, and there's a viral video that says F Andrew Wiggins. I don't know why. It pushes him away from Kentucky. He decides to go to Kansas. Kansas has had 5-star recruits like that in the past. They have not had Andrew Wiggins level. We were talking LeBron James. We were talking all sorts of stuff. Kevin Durant, right? So Andrew Wiggins goes to Kansas, and Kansas plays more of a, like kind of the system they play is like they play more of an unselfish level of basketball. And so Andrew Wiggins was this big scorer, this big dominator coming out of high school. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm going to associate it to Trey Lance's situation. Andrew Wiggins fit what basically coming out of high school, he was the guy he wanted to take over. He's the guy that was going to take over, right? Well, in the Kansas offense, you also had Joel Embiid, and you had an offense with, guys like that, like Wayne Selden, for instance, that were just kind of more of the unselfish players. And Wiggins adopted that, right? Wiggins kind of lost that tenacity as soon as he got to college. He didn't play with that level of, ferociousness, which is probably why it pushed him, out of being that superstar. Because he has that lack of like a killer instinct. And I love Wiggins, so I'm not trying to hate on the guy. The reason I bring this up is because you talk about putting Wiggins, a killer, in high school, a guy that will just go and he will attack the rim and he will be ferocious. You put him in college, and did he look ferocious at times? Maybe, but it wasn't consistent. Now, you look at Trey Lance. This is somebody who played like his hair was on fire. He made some unbelievable throws. Mind you, he only threw one pick in college, like 20-something touchdowns, one interception. And, watching Trey Lance, this is somebody that I thought did well off script. I thought he did well inside of structure. And I thought North Dakota State let this guy be him. Trey Lance is not a pocket quarterback, although he can play in the pocket. Trey Lance is not a running quarterback, although he can run. Trey Lance is kind of a do-it-all dual threat. The misconception about a dual threat quarterback is that they're just a scrambler. You say dual threat when a guy can run and he plays a position where you're predominantly throwing the ball. The problem I have, and the reason why I believe Trey Lance is better than people think, and it's the 49ers that are screwing up his development, is because I believe they don't know how to coach a player like this. If you look, Jimmy Garoppolo, was he a dual threat quarterback? No. Sam Darnold, I mean, he's the closest that we've seen, right? Brock Purdy can run every now and then. He's not a dual threat quarterback. So I think by adding Trey Lance, the goal was to get a dual threat guy that could take the offense to new heights. However, they are struggling to figure out ways to develop this guy who is a dual threat quarterback. They're developing him in a way where he is just everybody else. So when Trey Lance is missing throws or Trey Lance looks ordinary, guys, Trey Lance is always going to look ordinary in practice. The things that make Trey Lance are his ability to run the football. The fact that he looked like a cross between Carson Wentz and, Cam Newton when he was running the ball, breaking tackles, doing spin moves, hurdling people. If you're just in practice and you're throwing like that and that's all anybody's seeing and that's not your forte because you're a dual threat, then you're not getting the full picture. And so what I believe is that the 49ers gave this guy mixed signals. So when he gets a chance to play in his first game or whatever, now he's this gadget guy. This is why I don't like this. This is why I think it kills quarterbacks. If your quarterback is supposed to be a franchise guy, how is he going to feel if he's starting out his career as a gadget role player? You're using him in the end zone. You're using him at the goal line for quarterback sneaks. You're using him in trick play situations. How does that help one's development? It doesn't. So I think the 49ers have botched his development. I do think, all the restrictions, the injuries, COVID, all that, I think has also hurt him. But I do think the 49ers have a lot to do with the reason why Trey Lance hasn't succeeded. And, you could say what you will. Okay, Kyle Shanahan, he developed Brock Purdy and, Jimmy Garoppolo, and the offense is so simple for quarterbacks. So how are you blaming Kyle? because they're different style quarterbacks. See, it's not to say Kyle can't develop quarterbacks. That's not what I'm saying. But Trey Lance is a different type of quarterback. It's the same thing I said the other day on Kick when I was talking to Gary Sheffield Jr. and a couple other people. And I said, you know, the big reason Colin Kaepernick fell off, regardless if you like him or not, Colin Kaepernick fell off the moment the 49ers told him he couldn't run the ball anymore and he had to throw out of the pocket. What if, by some imagination, Trey Lance is being asked to be just a pocket passer, and it is a disservice to what he brings to the game? There's a very good chance that they're telling him to cut back on the running. They're telling him to cut back on all that and learn how to be a pocket passer. And if that's the case, that's like taking Cam Newton, who you knew when he won the MVP, the thing that made Cam was his ability to run, his ability to extend plays, his ability to play with outside of structure. And now you're telling Cam Newton he has to be a pocket quarterback, which he's never been able to do. That's the problem. And so I think it's just pointless at this point for the 49ers to even carry Trey Lance, because it was always a project, because they got him to take their offense to another level, and they found out that basically, oh crap, we can't do this. This isn't going to work. This doesn't fit within our offense. We need a guy that is just going to follow the instructions, play within structure, just be a pocket passer, make two reads. We don't want Trey Lance. He doesn't fit us. But right now, they're dealing with the fact they spent all that capital. They haven't won anything. And you can't just cut a guy like that after you've spent all that draft capital. You just can't. And honestly, you want to hear the God's honest truth? If Trey Lance was cut tomorrow, do you know who would be the first team to want to claim him? The Los Angeles Rams. The Rams would gobble him up in 2 seconds. Sean McVay would get the most out of him. I'm telling you right now, if Trey Lance became available on the open market, the Rams would be the first team to throw the claim. I'm not kidding. Oh, man. What's up, Fish? Where are you playing tonight? I'm thinking probably a little Warzone a little bit later. Yeah, absolutely, Briley. 1 second. I got you. There we go. So that's my little spiel on Trey Lance. In addition to that, what's up, Rod? In addition to that, Trey Lance has played 8 games and started 4. He's a first-round quarterback they traded multiple draft picks to, and they only have a small 4 starting sample size. 4 games started. 4! How on earth are you going to be able to tell people that you know that he's a bust or he's bad based on 4 starts in the NFL? Like, are we serious? And the thing I find funny about that, and he broke his foot. Thank you, Alex. The thing I find funny about that is that Mike Florio continues to parade around that he was right. He was right. He told us so. He told us so. Mike Florio did not watch one North Dakota State football game. There is not a chance in hell. I would put my name on the line. There is no way in hell that Mike Florio of NBC whatever, Pro Football Talk, watched a game of North Dakota State football with Trey Lance. There's no way. I do not buy it. Not for a second. I, however, watched every single game of Trey Lance, and I came to the conclusion that this guy is the best quarterback in that respective draft. I think the problem is this. Okay, first off, Florio hears things. Florio is good at getting in with the news. Florio isn't a player evaluator, so I don't give a rat's ass what that guy thinks about a quarterback. I do not care. His opinion about a quarterback means about as much as this dead fruit fly on my desk. That's how much his opinion matters about talent evaluation. So my thing here is that there are people that actually did the homework. They watched all the games, and they're telling people like Florio to give it a rest and calm down because you can't evaluate a quarterback off of 4 starts in the NFL. It is ridiculous. He is a first-round pick, and it's time to see what he can do. If the 49ers aren't going to start him, please, for the love of God, trade him. You are ruining his career. Ruining it. We can hear all the time. All I keep reading about and hearing in 49er content creator land is that none of the quarterbacks look good in camp. And are we really going to hold Trey Lance as the bad guy over the fact that Kyle Shanahan and company are literally, they were trotting out Brandon Allen in the 11-on-11s. They were giving Brandon Allen quarterback reps over their 3rd overall pick from 2 years ago, who they spent 2 first-rounders on. I mean, come on now. So, yeah, that's just my take. I think Trey Lance, it might not be tomorrow, might not be this year, might not even be next year, but somewhere down the line, and if I'm wrong, then you can quote me on this, you can quote tweet, whatever, you can take this clip and you can paste it everywhere because everyone's got those clips. Except Skip Bayless has a lot of those clips. But if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. But I'm going to say right now, won't happen tomorrow, might not happen this year, might not happen the year after. But Trey Lance is going to go to a team that actually knows how to use him, play him to his strengths, as opposed to just playing him around his weaknesses. And he is going to develop into a franchise quarterback in the NFL. Mark my damn words. Okay? I would love to see Trey Lance on the Vikings, Garrett. I think that would be fantastic because I'm a fan of football. If 49er fans see this video and they're like, why is he talking about Trey Lance? Why is he defending a 49er? You guys aren't off the hook because the 49ers are a big reason why Trey Lance is in the mess he's in. But I'll say this. I'm a football fan. I have a Rams helmet on my desk. I also have a Jets helmet. I have a Super Bowl logo that the Rams won. I love the Rams. I got the banner in the back, but I'm a football fan. I'm a fan of the NFL. I cover the NFL. I have a show that I do with a former NFL player. So I want what's best for these players. I want Trey Lance to succeed for more than just my own ego, because if he does succeed, then I look smart. But in addition to that, I'm rooting for the 24-year-old kid who's told every single day that he's trash, he's a bust. The guy's played 4 games. When he went down with a gruesome foot injury or leg injury, the first thing people said was bust, not get well soon. You'll be back better than ever. We're rooting for you. It was, oh, he's trash. He's a bust. So, yeah, I'm rooting for the kid from Division 1 AA. I'm rooting for the guy out of North Dakota State. I hope he figures it out. I don't care if it's on the Niners or not. I hope he makes people, look stupid. So that's my take on Trey Lance. A little bit of a spiel there. Again, guys, the title of these live streams, it's the main topic, but once we finished and we're answering questions and whatnot, this thing can go all over the place. So keep that in mind. The only reason he got hurt is because Shanahan made him run it over and over. Exactly. So this is actually a big thing that I have an issue with, is that there are probably people like, wait, Jake, you were saying that he's trying to turn him into a pocket passer. He is, because Shanahan, when he used him, would just use him to run. The thing that makes Trey Lance dangerous is the fact it's the dangerous aspect of I can throw and I can run. I can make the deep ball throw. I can make the short area throw, and I could take off and run. I could juke a guy. I can spin move a guy. I can hurdle a guy. When you just have Trey Lance doing one of those things, whether it's just throwing out of the pocket, not allowing him to run, not allowing him to play outside of structure, or it's just running the ball, you're making him very easy to read. You're also making him very predictable, and at the end of the day, he's like a sitting duck out there. So, I'm rooting for Trey Lance. I don't care if he figures it out on the Niners or not. Preferably, I would hope it would be on another team. That would be funny, but I'm rooting for him. He's a good dude, and you hate to see that. See, and here's another thing I'll say. See, Trey Lance isn't this Jamarcus Russell type. He's not Johnny Manziel. Okay? This guy actually cares. He went to Patrick Mahomes' quarterback coach in the offseason. This guy's putting in the work. You know? He's putting in the work. It's not like he's not easy. He shouldn't be easy for you to root against because, like, besides the fact that he's a Niner, which, okay, that's fine, Rams fans. If you want to say that, totally understand that. But if you're rooting against him, you know, for whatever reason other than being a Niner, let me just tell you this right now. This is not a guy you want to fail. This is an underdog guy. Okay, this is a guy that went to North Dakota State. He didn't go to an Alabama. He went to North Dakota. And furthermore, did you know that Trey Lance was asked by multiple schools to transfer during the COVID year? He refused to leave North Dakota State. He wanted to stay there. And that's the thing to me. If you're going to root against guys, okay, we all have in our blood rooting against different players and whatnot. We don't like so-and-so. Fine, I get it. But Trey Lance is an underdog story. We shouldn't be rooting against underdog stories that come from Division I AA. They work their tail off. They try to get better. They're constantly called busts. They continue to hang in there and try to get it done. You should be rooting against the guy that beats women. You should be rooting against the guy that has 26 different allegations of you-know-what. You should be rooting against the guy that doesn't look at the playbook once and then makes it all about himself instead of the team. Those are guys you should be rooting against. Not guys like Trey Lance. These are the good guys. So he hasn't gotten the opportunity. He's not the only quarterback, by the way. There are plenty of quarterbacks in this league that never get the opportunity. But it's like the thing that sucks the most for Trey Lance is that he was drafted in the first round. They traded all those picks to get him. And now it's like there's even more pressure on him. And he's not getting the opportunity to start. They're going to give it to Brock Purdy, which I can't even say they're wrong to do that. But the idea that now he's the third string quarterback, they're giving Brandon Allen reps in camp, it's just ridiculous. Damn, Jake just made me a Trey Lance fan in 10 minutes. That's how it works, Garrett. That's how it works. Did you guys like the analogy, the Mike Florio analogy? His opinion means about as much as the dead fruit fly on my desk. That's one that I'm probably going to be using a lot. And that just kind of came out. Kittle is awesome. Sadly, he's with the... Yeah. I mean, I wanted the Rams to get Kittle. They could have gotten him 5th round. That was my number 1 tight end. I was all over Kittle. Tell him, Jake. Appreciate you, Jack. Monty, thank you so much for the 5. Does Trey Lance remind me of Marcus Mariota? I mean, well, it's kind of funny you bring up Marcus Mariota because here's a little tidbit about Marcus Mariota. This guy was really starting to find success. Then he gets a back injury. He's hurt. He's about 40% healthy. Mike Mularkey keeps playing him. Do you guys remember that when Mike Mularkey was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans? And he just kept playing him. And Marcus Mariota was like the only one in the league who had never thrown an interception in the red zone. He went like 34 touchdowns, no interceptions in the red zone. The guy was really developing, and then he suffered an injury, and then his coach just kept playing him when you could clearly see he wasn't healthy. And it would be like, they'd be on prime time, right? So Tennessee Titans are playing like Sunday Night Football, and you have Al Michaels saying like, and he was right about this. He's like, he doesn't look 100%. I don't even think he looks 70%. And Mariota's career kind of went down the tubes after that because he was injured. It was cool to see Mariota on the Falcons this past year. He didn't get a chance to really show what he can do, but you did get a kind of an idea. I thought he played well against the Rams in that feverish comeback effort in week 2. But I like Mariota. I think Trey Lance has a wicked high ceiling, though. And I mean, I got news for you. If Trey Lance goes somewhere and absolutely tears it up, how does that look towards Kyle Shanahan? Because if that happened with Sean McVay, imagine what people would be saying about Sean McVay. Even though this is the guy that's been 2 Super Bowls and he's actually won one. It's funny how that works, but half of your family are Niner fans. Oh boy. Anthony Silva says dead fruit fly's opinion is more respected than Fulio. That's funny. Oh, I'm not a 49er fan, Mike. I'm just saying that I feel for Trey Lance. Michael, appreciate you with the 5. Really appreciate you, man. That's my guy, Michael King. We've been talking consistently since, 2-3 years ago, Michael? It's been a lot of fun. Good friend of mine. What's my take on Noteboom's future with the Rams? A lot of money, yes. I think his deal is done after this year, but I could see them moving him to guard to kind of salvage it. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's got a long-term future, which is kind of sad. I think Alec Jackson kind of takes over at left tackle, but stranger things have happened. 2020. Yeah, so it was 3 years ago. I don't know about you guys, but since COVID in 2020, has anyone kind of lost track of time? Like, do things blend in for you like they do for me? Because I always have that. That is always happening to me. I feel like for sports, I can't even remember what 2019, 2020, like I only know 2021 because obviously the Rams and the Jayhawks, but the Jayhawks won in 2022 and the Rams technically only won in 2022, but that dead fruit fly is something. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's Kyle will never win a ship. I wouldn't be surprised if you're right there. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think the 49ers are going to win. I don't know. I just don't get that vibe. It would be really, really funny, though, is if they traded Trey Lance to... Man... If they traded Trey Lance to the Vikings, I think the Vikings would have a shot at a Super Bowl within the next 5 years. Imagine Trey Lance throwing to Justin Jefferson, throwing to Jordan Addison, throwing to TJ Hawkinson, then being able to go out and run behind a really good offensive line with guys like Darisaw and O'Neal. I like that fit. No, keep him away from the Raiders. we do not need Trey Lance in Vegas. Derek Carr just ran away, so he got out of harm's way. He's with the Saints now. Ask the dead fruit fly what its opinion on the Rams O-line is. The dead fruit fly says the Rams offensive line is going to be top 15 this year. Brandon thinks the Rams should sign Clowney. I think JJ3 is very much going to be very similar to what we saw the last year in 2020. No, Havenstein... I mean, I might be wrong. I thought he got a longer deal. No, Havenstein's definitely extended longer than that. Yeah, Havenstein's contract is up after the 2025 season. So yeah, he's extended longer than... They have a potential out after the 2024 season, but no, he just got extended. I knew he did. No worries. Appreciate you. Let's see. My opinion on Steve Avila, plug and play. Can't wait to watch him. I think he's going to be a difference maker and actually help the offense to a noticeable level. My opinion on Logan Bruss is that give him time. Poor guy tears his ACL in his first year of preseason. Doesn't get a chance to get any better. Instead, he has to focus on rehabbing a knee as a big boy, of course. Then this year, you know, they think he's better off at tackle, and they don't want to push him at guard right now. So could he play guard in the future? Sure, but I like him at tackle. I think Alaric Jackson would be a really good left tackle starting. I think he's already proven that. It seems weird that Justin Jefferson's so high, but I'm not going to give him flack. I mean, the guy he's on a ridiculous pace. I agree, Rod. Would be a good fit for him going to the Vikings. Yeah, look at what you did, Jazz. Jazz Flute started the whole thing with the whole dialogue with Trey Lance. Had no idea either. It's like, had no idea that was brewing all day. And this is the great thing about having my own talk show, because I get to talk about it and I actually have an audience. Oh, I've been mulling that all day. All day have I been waiting to drop that. Thanks for going off for my Lance question. Also, I heard a couple of people credit you for breaking the JJ3 news. Congrats on the recognition. Appreciate you, Jazz. Yeah, that was fun. We got to break some news. Broke it right here on YouTube and Twitter simultaneously, so that was fun. And pretty much everyone credited me. I mean, I didn't have really anyone that was discrediting me or anything like that, so... You know, you have your haters every now and then, but like there was a couple Rams fans that are like, oh, dude's just reading the tea leaves because he saw that he was at camp yesterday. And I was like, yep, that's exactly what I was doing, because that's how I was able to find out that Stetson Bennett was getting drafted by the Rams before it was announced on TV and break that. And the same thing with Davis Allen and Warren McClendon, you know. Just reading the tea leaves, guys. Definitely don't have a source or anything. Can you imagine that, though? If I just guessed the picks and I got it right, I'd be unstoppable. Like, I was just like, yeah, Warren McClendon, I think they're going to pick him. And then I reported it as such. That'd be crazy. Who needs sources if you have that good of a... You are the source. To keep Sko on the field, I think he's going to be a fullback / tight end. Trey Lance, Lord of the Fruit Flies. I don't think it's a bad name. Alex, are we going to get another dub in Warzone today? Tonight? I don't know if they trade any picks for 2024. I think if they do, then they probably acquired Chase Young and they just had to make a move. But I don't know if they're going to make any moves or anything like that. We'll see. Dante Fowler is a free agent. Yeah. Oh, wait. No, he's not. He was signed, I thought, by Dallas. Yeah. No, he was signed by Dallas. I was thinking of Robert Quinn, who is a free agent currently. Awesome. Sounds good. What, 2 nights in a row of Warzone dubs? Let's go for a third. I almost got one earlier in solos when I was playing by myself without streaming. You never say never, but I think the Rams want to avoid spending draft capital. Yeah, I stream Warzone on Kick. So if you guys want to check that out, I keep it separate from YouTube, and the reason being I used to stream it on here, but I feel like it's so vastly different than most of my content on here that it just is going to push people away. People were unsubbing, and we don't want that. So that's my my kick, whatever it's called, URL link. Yeah, that thing, link. I'm going to add that to the pin message again. Happy birthday to Frankie Too Sweaty. Love it. Hope you had a great day, or you're having a great day. Well, NFL Rums doesn't get anything right. Like, good Lord, I am so tired of them. Is anyone else tired of those NFL pages? I'll give credit where credit's due. It takes a lot of work to run them. To be fair, I mean, social media is a job. Like, people don't get that. To run a brand page, it is a job. But does anyone else get tired of those NFL pages that are constantly just, regurgitating nonsensical bullshit? Or is that just me? I don't have a PC. I have a MacBook M1 Max. Mirage, how's it going? Over on Kick, what's up? Yeah, I have a MacBook M1 Max, and I play on PS5. Chillin'? Glad to hear it. That's a good thing. We like chillin'. Yeah, the fake news has got to go. But it's gotten so brutal over the years because Instagram makes it really easy to just start a page and just start putting out, just nonsensical BS. Twitter also makes it easy, and now anybody can be verified as long as they have money. So it makes it easier to get rickrolled or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Yeah, guys, be sure to click that link. I'll be streaming on Kick later. Actually, in a little bit, because we've been live for over an hour. It does get annoying, for sure. Dude, all right, I'm just going to say this right now. I'm sure the person that runs NFL Rookie Watch is a good person, okay? But good Lord, you are absolutely right, Alex. I literally had to unfollow. I unfollowed and muted them because I'm so tired of hearing how every single rookie is going to absolutely take the league by storm. That is the most overused. He's going to take the league by storm. The league shall be taken by storm. Like, who's getting taken by storm? Like, I understand, like, Patrick Mahomes was a big step up. Okay? Like, no one had really seen anybody like that. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, very similar play style to Brett Favre, Randall Cunningham, guys like that, Aaron Rodgers. But Patrick Mahomes is kind of like his own thing. Okay? But at this point, Aaron Donald, Patrick Mahomes, guys like that, we've seen it all. The league has seen it all. Nobody is taking the league by storm. Can we retire that statement forever? Can we please? Please. Nobody is taking the league by storm anymore. The league has seen everything there is to see. I mean, we saw a freaking, 6'9" tight end? Did nothing. We always hear, 6'5" corner is going to take the league by storm. I'm old enough to remember when Obi Melifonwu was going to take the league by storm because he was the 6'4" safety. It's like, oh, good Lord. That is the most overused term, guys. Goes back to what I was saying yesterday. It's the same thing all the time. When you listen to the mainstream media, whatever it may be, sports-wise, and they're like, they got a quarterback, they got a fan base, they got a home field, they got a coach, they got some good players, they have some not bad players. Like, you didn't name one single player. Like, it's the same thing. I love how Anthony knew exactly who I was talking about. I wanted Fendi Onabun to be good, by the way, out of Houston. Also, he had such a good name. That would have been an easy jersey buy. Easy. It's just like, good Lord, man. It's the same thing all the time. It really is. Be sure to hit that like button, guys. We're almost at 100. Okay. So now we have the NCAA has tightened the transfer rule. So second-time transfers will only be granted a waiver for immediate eligibility for medical or safety reasons. How do you guys feel about that? My thing is, who cares? Why? Why is that a thing? I don't know. I love when they're like, if you have a quarterback, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Well, not quite, because every team has a quarterback. And I don't understand what they're saying, but I hate that. Is anyone tired of vague analysis? Can we get rid of that? Can that be like a New Year's resolution by the mainstream next year? No vague analysis. We promise to be honest. If we don't know something, we'll have somebody with, like, you have like an earpiece in the studio. People can literally tell you things. Can we just stop with the vague? One day, I am going to go live and I'm going to do vague sportscaster trope. And I'm going to see how quickly you guys figure out how vague I'm being and if I'm doing the trope or not. Which I will, because I don't go vague. I'm an oversharer when it comes to analysis. If anything, I do too much. I don't think anybody, like, you don't have to hear the depth chart every single time. But I am one of those guys that I know the depth chart and all, you know. It's just how I look at the game, how I look at analysis. But one of these days, I'll do vague analysis. Okay, I'll give you that, champ. Anthony Richardson, who is also the guy that I said could be the closest thing we've seen to Patrick Mahomes. So there's that. What's up with Vincent Gray? Not really anything that I would know because I haven't been at camp, but I haven't heard his name at all. And I guess that could be good as a corner, but also it could be bad. We'll see. Preseason matters, guys. Don't listen to what they tell you. Preseason still matters. I know they care about the production in camp. They care about the production in practice. Preseason still matters. Starting DBs. I think it's probably everyone's at this point. Jacoby Durant. You got Ahkello Witherspoon, Darion Kendrick, John Johnson III, and Jordan Fuller. I think D-Rob has a chance to start. I think they might want to see him in action with the new offense. Yeah, I think it's possible. Kendrick's going to start for them. I personally would like to see Rochelle, but yeah. They're going to rotate. I think JJ3 will start, but, you'll have, like, when Jacoby Durant, like, leaves his spot, Darion Kendrick will come off, and you'll get another safety. They'll have 3 safety looks. They'll have 3 cornerback looks. Lake and East will alternate there. At least I think. What's up with Nick Hampton? I also haven't really heard his name much, so we'll see what happens in preseason. I like him. I was a big fan of that pick. Do I miss Taylor Rapp? I liked him probably more than most people did. But do I miss him? I don't know. I miss John Johnson. Now that he's there, I feel pretty good. Tomlinson could play. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Nick Scott was fun. Nick Scott wasn't great, though. I think Nick Scott got this treatment of being like a fan favorite to the point where we stopped really even just analyzing him. We just kind of let him be, but he wasn't great. Was not great. He had some moments last year, but yeah, he wasn't great at all. Michael Lorenzen is trying to throw a no-hitter. Interesting. Trying to throw a no-hitter. For the Phillies. The Yankees, well, they're losing 3-0 because they continue to trot out Severino, and the dude just all he does is give up runs. So it's like I don't know what they're thinking. I didn't know it was that hard to figure that out, but I guess it is. I guess it is, chat. Favorite NFL player? I mean, probably Matthew Stafford or Tutu Atwell, I'd say probably right now. Robert Woods is up there. I mean, I met Robert Woods. He's fantastic. Odell Beckham Jr. is up there. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of scary. Darrell Henderson's still up there for me. I love Darrell Henderson. I hope he finds a team that's a good fit for him. Aaron Donald, yeah. I mean, Jacoby Durant is definitely becoming one of my favorites on the team. A lot of guys. I never did that video, the stat projection for Tutu. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe 700 yards receiving. He has a deal with the XFL if he doesn't get an NFL deal. I think Tutu Atwell's ceiling is around the Marquise Brown level. So we're talking like top 25 wide receiver in the NFL. Like, I think that's fair. Top 30. That's the vibe I'm getting, champ. I think he's probably going to be somebody that gets signed late into camp. Yeah, Hendo probably never plays in the XFL. I just don't really know what I'm missing because, I mean, the stats are all there. The film's there. The guy puts in the work. He's a great pass protector, which a lot of running backs struggle in that regard. I don't know. I don't really get it. Guys, be sure to hit the like button. We're almost at 100 likes here. We got 8 away. And be sure to hit the subscribe button. Never miss another video ever again. All-time favorite Ram? It would be Marshall Faulk or Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner has the edge because he came on my show. So, you know, Kurt Warner coming on Downtown Rams, I got to give him the edge there. I defended Bruce like he was like my own family member as far as like his Hall of Fame resume. So I guess Bruce, yeah. Fun fact, Cam and I took over for Isaac Bruce and Doc Holliday, in case you guys didn't know that, for Believe in Rams. So, pretty cool stuff. Bruce passed the mic down to us. Bruce wore Niner gold. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. London Fletcher was great. I really like Tommy Polly. He also came on my show. Dexter McLeon was awesome. Victor Adeyanju was awesome. Those are guys that I interviewed. Jimmy Kennedy was a great interview. Really fun guy. Dieter Brock, Mike Lansford, Leroy Irvin. I went to his 60th birthday party. He was, oh man, Leroy is great. He's been on my show a bunch of times. But yeah, I think that's not it. Tyoka Jackson came on. Who else? Is that it? There's no way. That's not it. I had Phil Olsen on. Michael Lorenzen throws 14th no-hitter in Phillies history. That was a trade deadline acquisition. I never interviewed Dre Bly. Dre Bly and I have had contact, and I believe Bly follows me on Twitter. I could be wrong. I believe he does, but if he doesn't, that's going to be embarrassing. Yes, he follows me on Twitter. So, yeah, Dre Bly. I tried to get, like, Avion Case on. I tried to get Garrett. Kevin Garrett, the corner. What's up, Lawrence? I could have sworn I made you a mod. I tried to get, who else did I try to get? I forget. What games do I play? I'm a variety streamer on Kick, so I'll play everything from like Call of Duty, Warzone to like Baldur's Gate. I'm going to be playing a ton of Spider-Man when it comes out in October. Yeah, I mean, horror games. I played Outlast, Alien, Amnesia, Alan Wake. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. Overwatch is in my rotation, Rocket League. So I play a bunch of stuff. Jeremiah, you met him in 2016. Leroy is the man. I'll never forget that. It was so cool. Because here's the thing. You know what makes Leroy so badass? Besides the fact that he's a great person. Leroy Irvin played for the Kansas Jayhawks and the LA Rams. That is a special place in my heart. So, love Leroy. He's rock chalk Ram. And, it's cool because we were talking about it back when, I don't know if you guys remember Marcus Roberson. Roberson was wearing 47. And I asked him, I'm like, what do you feel about that? And he's like, while there are a lot of guys out there that wouldn't want a certain player wearing their number, he said, I root for players like that. So he's like, I'm rooting for Roberson. He's like, I want to see him do well. I want him to break all my records. He says it. Like, he's got the punt return record in a game, I think it is, single game. And he wants it to be broken. Like, it's cool to have records, but he's like, records are meant to be broken. So I thought it was cool. He's a really humble guy. If you've never, heard him or anything, I have shows that you could probably just look up on YouTube, just Leroy Irvin, Downtown Rams, and it'll pop up. But, yeah. All right, Cameron, you're being a little controversial here in the comment section. I understand trash talk, but you're in here every single time. You know that the majority of Rams fans are in here. And it's like you're trying to get a rise out of people, but you kind of come off looking like a jerk. So just cut it out. If you don't have anything to contribute, then just like, why bother, Like, why waste your time? My buddy in St. Louis in a White Castle ran into Aeneas Williams. Damn. Marcus Dupree. I have not interviewed Marcus Dupree, and I'm currently looking up who that is. So Marcus Dupree is a running back for the Rams in 1990 to 1991. He ran a 4.29 40. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think sometime down the road I'd like to interview all of the legends. So, well, I'm giving Cameron an opportunity. Because if he continues to be disrespectful, then I'll have to. Because, again, I have no issue with trash talk. But, like, you have to contribute more than trash talk. Okay? And, I mean, by I say I have no issue, I'm not going to ban you for trash talk. But, personally, you guys already know, if you've been following me long enough, my take on trash talk is that I don't play for the team. So, I'm not bragging about anything. Like, you can choose your own fandom. It's not like you were assigned to be a Rams fan from God and they ended up being good and now you're bragging about it. There's no reason to brag, in my opinion. Trash talk is kind of lame, but I get why people do it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just personally for me, I've never liked it. I'm not really a fan of I'm not a fan of booing culture. I'm not your stereotypical Yankee fan, am I? I feel like everyone just kind of associates me with a fan base that wants to boo and everything. And yeah. All right. So here's the thing, though. If I'm doing the math, I don't understand how you would get even with the Rams when you played them the year after and you lost. Do you remember that? Teddy Bridgewater came in. I was at that game, so I know that didn't. There's no getting even. You lost. Like, you had an opportunity with the same type of team, and you lost. You didn't get even, and barely beat a banged up Rams team when Matthew Stafford left the game last year. So I don't know. And I gotta say, the Lambs has to be the dumbest nickname, trash talk nickname I've ever heard of. I mean, when I hear people say Lambs, no offense, Cameron, but I assume your IQ is below 60. It is how is that like? I don't even know. Is that supposed to be like clever? Like, Chat, am I crazy for saying like the whole Lambs thing sounds ridiculous? I've always thought that. Doesn't mean because I'm a Rams fan. I don't care. It's not hurting my feelings. I just like to sound somewhat intelligent in a conversation. When I hear, as soon as I hear Lambs, okay? Like, as soon as I hear Lambs, I immediately think that person doesn't know football. They could have just told me the difference between, you know, a hook zone and a zone read, whatever. Like, I don't even know. Just like any football terminology. They could have just broken down the 4-3 defense like painstaking details. And if they just said lamb, if they just called the Rams the Lambs, I'm out. Like, I'm the Shark Tank guys. I'm like, I'm out. This is done for me. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I know some of you call the 49ers the whiners. Personally, for me, I call every team by their own name. Whiners is clever. I'll give you that. Lambs is ridiculously stupid. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's why I don't call the Seahawks the Sea Chickens. I don't call, you know, the Cowboys the Cowgirls. It's just like, it's just eye rolling. It is very much like just, it face palm eye roll times 2. I was trying to follow that comment that you made, Cameron, and I don't even understand it. Well, we hate y'all instead of San Francisco. We hate both California teams. We hate y'all and Philadelphia and San Francisco and Minnesota throughout this playoff games, even Seattle. So do you hate that? I mean, here's my thing. If you stop blowing playoff games, then you don't have to hate teams, right? Because then you'll win. Like, maybe just win those playoff games, and then you don't have to hate on teams. Yep, you're a lamb. The way I see it with the whole, and I don't care. Saints fans can feel how they feel. It's totally fine by me. But it's like, here's my thing, okay? There was a overtime, right? When Nickel Roby-Coleman got called for that, did that end the game? Did they give the Rams the NFC title right after that call? The no call? Is that when the game ended? Or was there actually overtime after that? Because I believe there was overtime, if I'm not mistaken. So much so, I believe the Saints actually got the ball. And they threw an interception, no? And they were up 10-0 on an unforced error when Jared Goff threw a pass that was over Todd Gurley's head, no? What about the arm punt that Drew Brees threw that got caught because Lamarcus Joyner was completely out of position? What about the missed face mask call on Jared Goff? It's like Alex Anzalone just went whoop. And by the way, the face mask that was missed on, was it 3rd and goal or 4th and goal or whatever, would have given the Rams a completely new set of downs, 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. It would be half the distance of the goal, so it would have been even closer. So it's like, I mean, I don't, this is why I don't care. Because at the end of the day, we can sit here and complain all we want. We can complain about the Patriots Super Bowl. We can complain about how the Rams were about to take over the game. Todd Gurley runs for 15 yards. It's the first big break of the entire game for the Rams offense. It's 0-0. Todd gets past midfield, and they call a phantom hold on John Sullivan that kills the drive. We can complain about stuff all we want. At the end of the day, I mean, the Rams had opportunities to beat the Patriots. They had opportunities. If Jared Goff throws quicker, gets it to Brandon Cooks, Cooks probably doesn't drop the touchdown because I don't think there's anybody there to hit him. So we could do this all day. Same thing with the Bengals fans. Though they didn't call penalties until the end of the game. Look, I like the Bengals. I have them win the Super Bowl. I had a great time interacting with those fans on Twitter and Twitter Spaces. But I literally see people saying, like, word for word, they're complaining that basically they're complaining that referees were throwing flags at the end of the game and not letting them cheat like they did earlier in the game. Like, oh, well, they didn't throw the flag when T. Higgins ripped Jalen Ramsey's head off and threw him to the ground. Like, bruh. They didn't call it then. Why are they calling it now? Like, dude, you're still cheating. Like, sorry. Logan Wilson can't just grab Cooper Kupp's, like, that's not how it works. Like, you can't, oh, well, I was just grabbing onto his hips. You turned him. That's a flag. The play before it with Darrell Henderson, you had Jermaine Pratt all over Darrell Henderson. Could have been called. They probably didn't call it, and they're like, all right, we'll let it slide. Then they did it again, and the refs are like, all right, the Bengals really, we're going to have to step in here because the Bengals are going to hold every play. What about that helmet-to-helmet hit? Well, what about it? Helmet-to-helmet has always been a penalty. Well, they didn't call it earlier for Joe Burrow. I mean, let's be honest here. You guys aren't even in that game if OBJ doesn't have a mysterious torn ACL. I mean, we could go on and on and on. I just think as I've gotten older, I just realized at the end of the day, you have every chance to win. Okay, you can't blame the refs for everything. There are things that you can blame them for, like the Seahawks-Rams game. Lions fans have every reason to be upset about the game. Rams fans do. But at the end of the day, like, the Rams could have done a better job of finishing that game in Seattle, not leaving it up to the refs. You know, I mean, the face mask on Ramsey is just one of the worst missed things I've ever seen. No big deal. It's only the Super Bowl. No one is literally there. It's just two guys. Everyone is focusing on where the ball's going. I don't know how you missed that call. But the point is that, look, Cameron, the Saints lost because they didn't play as well as the Rams did. The Saints lost to the Vikings because they blew it. They blew it. They let Diggs beat them. Saints lost to the Eagles the same way. The Saints lose because they weren't as good as the other team in that moment. You can't just blame the refs every single time, is what I'm saying. It wasn't you didn't get screwed. The no call is the same no call that happened with Jared Goff and AJ Klein, or one of those linebackers. It was either Klein or it was Anzalone. There's no excuses because no one is going to make excuses for a team that won. That's the thing. The winners don't make excuses. There's no excuses being made. Missed the call on Ramsey with one of the world's largest video screens. Exactly. I don't know how you missed that. Anyway. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break here, guys. I will be live on Kick in a little bit, playing some Warzone. Hope to see you guys on there. If you're on Kick right now, hang out a little bit. I'll be over there shortly. Appreciate you guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you guys could do me a favor, if at least one person joins and signs up for Kick and follows me, it goes a long way each stream. So if one person, at least one person, can hit that link, sign up, takes 30 seconds, it would go a long way. Dan, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing you. I'll be back on Kick, so we'll chat. I have Cooper Kupp on my fantasy team. How worried should I be about the injury? I wouldn't be worried. I would not be worried. He's going to be ready for week 1. It's not a high ankle, so you don't have to worry about that bleeding into the season. So I think you're going to be pretty good there. But yeah, be sure to hit that link. Got 343 followers. We're doing not draft. Well, we'll do draft stuff when draft stuff rolls around. But we're going to be doing film breakdown over there. So be sure to... I don't use Kick, but start now. Appreciate you, Garrett. I'm giving you mod for that. Although I was probably going to give you mod anyway. So there's that. Thank you, Rod. Appreciate you. You guys are the best. You really are. You make this so much more fun, so much easier, and it's been awesome. And I think really, we're just trying to grow on both platforms now. Just trying to keep building on Kick and try to keep building on YouTube. And I think at some point or another, we're just gonna reach like this freaking level where we're 20,000 subscribers, and then next up we see 40,000 and so forth. I don't think it's going to take 3 years to get another 20,000 like it did this time around. I think we're really on the cusp of something big, and it's thanks to you guys, because if you guys, you guys watch, you guys make it happen. This show doesn't do jack shit without viewers. This is just me talking to myself if you guys don't enter. So you guys have done a great job of supporting me. I really do appreciate it, and I can't stress it enough. And that's why I bring it up every show. You're probably tired of it at this point, but I'm just going to be real. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to do a watch party for the Rams on this channel and on Kick, because, I was going to do it on Bleacher Report. Change of plans, obviously. They told me they want me to do a post game. So it allows me to interact with people on YouTube. And then if you guys want more content after the game, we'll do the post-game show on Bleach Report for all 3. So that's exciting. And we'll see how the season goes. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to be doing more watch parties, all different teams, hopefully getting all sorts of, all sorts of different fans in here. And that's why, like, with Cameron, like, he's being a troll. And I guess that's what he wants to do. But... the hope is we'll get Saints fans in here that don't want to be trolls, and they want to be a part of a community. We'll get 49ers fans in here that don't want to be trolls, and they'll be a part of a community. And we have those people that will show up every now and then. Coach T. Bates is one of them. I love seeing him in here. So that's the hope. Anthony, thank you so much for the 5. Really appreciate that. But, guys, that's the hope, is that we get to the point where we're building a community that, extends past the borders of just Rams fans. And I think having the show that I have with Cam off the edge is going to really allow us to reach out and bring those people on board. It's kind of a recruitment. People are kind of feeling it out and whatnot, but we're growing every day. I'm looking at the numbers, and our August is it's already absolutely slayed July's ass, because July is just so dead, guys. It's just so dead. There's no other way to really put it except for the fact that it's just incredibly dead. So August is on a great path. Downhill, appreciate the follow over on Kick. We got 344 now. That's freaking awesome. Appreciate you. August, we're really doing a nice job. And guys, just letting you know, we're keying in on a big milestone here. Almost at 7 million views on YouTube. So that's in the entirety since I started in November of 2020 to now. So really looking forward to hitting that milestone, and probably 10 million by the end of the year. So yeah. What are you really expecting on Saturday? I'm expecting some fireworks. I'm expecting them to have some fun, and just let Stetson Bennett just be him, and just, roll out and just have fun connecting with some, connecting on some dimes with some good players, there's a lot of talent that's going to be playing in this game that I don't think people are ready for. So should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys and talking and chatting and all of that. And it's just the tip of the iceberg, man. A lot more where that came from. So stick with me if you're confused about the direction here. We're going upward. I can already see the stats, the analytics, all of that. But hopefully we'll be breaking more news throughout the year and stuff like that. Is that GJB, or is that Gib, or is that GJB? I don't know why the font they pick on Kick is hard to read. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the follow. 345 over on Kick. Guys, I'll be over there playing some Warzone with Alex in the chat if you guys want to watch that. So be sure to stop by there. I'm going to be going offline for like 15 minutes and I'll come back online, go on Kick and play some games. So the way those work is if you want to come by, ask any questions, it's JE Live essentially. JE Gaming is just me gaming and me answering questions. If you guys have any time that you're like, man, I want to talk about the Rams, or I want to ask Jake a question, but I don't know, like, do I have to wait until the next JE Live to do it? Well, no, because the great thing about the community that we're building over on Kick is that it's supposed to really emulate what this is on YouTube. And so the whole point of it, no, don't ask me about spiders, Jeremiah. What are you thinking? The whole point of it is to build a community. So there's no stupid question as long as you keep it appropriate. There's no stupid question out there. Every question's good. And, I appreciate the way everyone kind of rallies around each other. That's why I don't like the trolling, because that's just disrespectful to the community. I don't care. It doesn't bother me, but it bothers me with the community. You guys, if you haven't gone already over to Kick, it is in the description. It's also pinned in the comments section. Takes 30 seconds to sign up. We're building something special over there in coordinates to YouTube. And the thing is, Kick is just a website, Alex. So it's just like YouTube. It's actually the best comparison is if you guys know Twitch. Kick is just a platform that is, rivaling Twitch, that just cares more about its creators. Twitch would pay you 50-50 for creators. But if you become, a subscriber on my channel, which is entirely to just support the channel, on Kick, I get 95% of the revenue. So that's how you should look at it. Is just Kick is just a better, more, it's a better and more helpful website for creators streaming than Twitch is. So that's what I would say. Twitch is also banning people. So if I were to do this on Twitch right now, if I were to do a simulcast of JE Live and have it on YouTube and Twitch, I'd get banned. They don't allow simulcasting, so that's also another thing. Yeah, they're ridiculous. I hate Twitch, so sorry if anybody streams there. I'm not trying to shit on you, but yeah, hopefully I'll see you, Alex. Once again, link is in the comments section, description. I continue to talk all day, but that's gonna do it. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys over on Kick, or if not, I'll see you next time on YouTube. Later, folks.